did a fantastic job. Slides. My checking link and my slides. Here. Good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second technical session of this Global Hack Week, GHW Career Week. And I'm happy to be here today to present to you my workshop, Elevate Your Professional Image, Start Your Tech Blog in an Hour. So thanks so much, everybody, for coming. Please do let me know if you can hear me okay, and if the music is too quiet or too loud. Let me know in chat. While we're getting everything started, let me just upload some links to the URL shortener that I created in the last Global Hack Week. If some of you will remember, I created a URL shortener using GitHub Pages. So let me just go ahead and update that with some up-to-date links for this session. The checking link, I'll need to grab it real quick from here. And I also have some updated slides, which we can reference after. Let's grab that as well. And I will remove the repo for now. So let me commit and build. In the meantime, let me, music is off. Okay, I didn't mean to turn it off. Let me just turn it up just a tad. Maybe I'll pick a different song. Okay, well, I'll keep it at 20% for now. Do let me know if it gets too loud. All right, in the meantime, let me just double check, see if my URL shortener has been updated. It looks like it has. All right, so let us check in at this link right here so you get your points. Here it is. Check in at, I think this is the right URL. Let me actually try it real quick. I don't even remember if that is the right URL. Check in. Perfect, that is the right URL. So definitely go there and check in real quick for me so we get your points. In the meantime, I see some of you answering my question. We got some React and Angular fans out there. Perfect. React, I used to work with Angular. I'm a React fan now. But there are all kinds of front-end frameworks that are out there with a popular following. So there's no right or wrong. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Please check in. Let me just change the banner real quick. Okay, perfect. Minimalist, HTML plus CSS, not even JavaScript. All right, I like you already. More of a full stack framework, I agree. But regardless, let's jump right into our session today. My name is Wei. For those of you who don't know me yet, I am a coach here at Major League Hacking. I use he, him pronouns, and a fun fact about me is I once registered 150 domain names over a single weekend. It was a horrible and costly mistake. So chat with me after if you want to learn how I did that. My GitHub and socials are available to the left, so feel free to follow, connect. Now, let's check in now. If you haven't already, I've already shared the check-in link, so please be sure you check in and get your points. Okay, so what are we building today? If you looked at my promo text or messaging on the Discord server, you might have seen we are going to be building a portfolio site with a blog in just an hour. And here is an example that I found. Think that this is something that we're going to do. We're going to follow. This is an amazing Jekyll theme for a beautiful online CV. I feel that is very, very beautiful, minimalist, if you will. Has all the socials available here. And in addition to that, there's like an about section underneath with a blog. So you can always update and this page with your new articles. You can also create more pages like collections, categories, and tags and more using Jekyll. So this is something we're going to build. So by the end of the session, everybody will have a site just like this, and you will be able to customize it with your picture, with your name, with your socials, and you should be able to publish your blog posts as well. So that's what we're going to do. And with that, we're actually going to be completing 5 Global Hack Week challenges by just doing this one session. So please follow along, and I'd love to see you all submit some challenges. All right. With that, let's see if we have any questions. Where can I find the Discord? The Discord server is available at, what is the Discord server? If anybody has the Discord server link, please drop them in chat and help him out. Could just be me, but there are some weird audio delay or echo. All right, let me see what I can do. Let me change my microphone to my AirPods. It's not the best audio, but I'm hoping it works. Okay, switching to my AirPods. Do let me know. All right, thanks, team, for posting the Discord link. All right, what is the tech stack used? This is going to be a static site using Jekyll, and it is based on Ruby, but you don't have to write any Ruby code. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you, Thinkverse, for answering that. Now, has anybody heard of the word static versus dynamic websites? Like, what are the differences between static and dynamic websites? There are my slides. So if you don't already know, a static site is like a plain HTML, JavaScript, and CSS site. There is no backend component. There's no server-side components to it. It's all stored on the server. So these are static files, static assets files, HTML, JavaScript, and CSS files start on the server. And all the pages are generated in advance. So like when the users access various pages on a website, they're basically just accessing the plain files. Whereas in a dynamic website, you might have a database, you might have user authentication, you might have a server-side component, server-side language, etc. That can handle the dynamic part of a website. So that's kind of the main difference. For the static website, you don't have a server-side component to it. It's all static, whereas the dynamic website, you do. Previous mic was much better. All right. Go with the other. Okay. All right. I will do that. Thank you for letting me know. One, two, testing 1, 2, 3. Drop me a chat. We'll keep going. Let me know if you have any issues. Now, let's talk a little bit about static site generators. All right. If you haven't heard of static site generators, these are tools that let you build static websites from dynamic content or dynamic data sources. All right. For example, you might have some data, maybe your blog posts stored in a database or in a file system. You might have some templates where you have your website design, and going through a static site generator will basically compile all your data, all your content, all your templates into static websites. These are just static HTML, JavaScript, and CSS files that you can store with any hosting provider. It can be a simple file storage service if you want, and basically it makes it so easy for you to store files. And all the users have to do is to request those files. They don't have to wait for a server to process to access the database or to build the pages. So that is the static site generation process. All right. Please drop me any questions if you have any. Let me actually change the banner here. Yeah, ask any questions in chat. Yeah, so static site generators are super, super powerful. And here are some pros and cons of static site generation. So these are the ones I can think of. So feel free to add to them in chat. Because static sites are plain files, it is super fast. The performance is unbeatable when compared to server-side dynamic websites, right? Because you're just serving plain files, you don't have to do any compute when the users make a request. It is infinitely scalable. You can use a content delivery service if you want and basically push your static websites out around the world. So folks, your users can just access those static files directly from a data center near them. So it's super, super fast, super, super scalable. And less theory, more practical. We're going into practical project right after this in like 4 minutes. So please be a little bit patient and we'll jump right into it. And lastly, there's security. Because there is no server, there's no database, there's no security vulnerabilities. All right, so it's super, super fast, scalable, and safe. However, because of that, there's less interactivity. There's lack of personalization because you don't have like the users logging in and customizing their site. You're serving the same sites to everybody. And it's a little bit difficult to do content management. All right, but there are solutions for that. So we'll jump into it after. All right, no security vulnerabilities, like none at all. There's less security vulnerability. There's no server to attack. Okay, so the attack base is much, much smaller. There could be like front-end security concerns that that back-end dynamic websites also have. So definitely much more secure in comparison. All right, thanks 404 for coming by and say hi. I hope you have a wonderful night of sleep. Good night. All right. We're almost there. So these are some popular SSG tools and frameworks. We're going to go with Jekyll just because of the ease of integration with GitHub Pages. We're going to be using GitHub Pages for hosting, and GitHub has built-in support for Jekyll. So we're going to go with that for now. But here is a list of languages, frameworks, technologies versus some of the SSG tools that are built on top of them. So you can pick your favorite languages and you can do some more research on some of the tools that are available for your language of preference. All right. However, for this stream, we're just going to go with Jekyll. You do not have to know any Ruby for this. So I just want to make that clear. All right, we're going to jump right into the practical part of the workshop. So first, we're going to find a Jekyll theme. I've already found some, but I'm going to share a link where we can find like some of the other themes that are available. So if you find one that you like, you can work with those after the session. So here are some example themes that are available on Jekyll. And of course, they also have themes for all kinds of the other SSG tools out there. So CVLess is the one I showed, and that's the one we're going to go with. But feel free to browse around to take a look at all the available options out there. All right. Perfect. So let's go ahead and click the demo. We've already seen the demo, so let's jump right into the GitHub repo for this project, for this Jekyll theme. And now we're in the GitHub page. Let's go down to the README file, and we can take a look at some descriptions of the theme. And there are installation instructions and usage instructions. So we're going to follow just that. Let me go ahead and share this repo with everybody. Okay. So we're going to fork this repo and name the repo username.github.io. All All right, so username is going to be your GitHub username. So for me, I'm going to click fork here. And since my username is worker, I'm going to call it worker.github.io. And that's all I need to do on this page. Create a new fork and go ahead and click Create Fork button. Do let me know in chat once you're able to create a fork with this repository name. So I'm going to go ahead and click Create Fork and wait a few seconds. In the meantime, I will actually create a short URL for this repo since we're working in it. You don't have to do this. This is just a short URL that I'm going to share after the session. Repo. Fork, perfect. Thank you so much. Let me know if you need more time. If you are done, I recommend, well, let's take this time to find a picture that you would like to put on your website, okay? So find a picture that you would like to put here while we wait for some of the other hackers to clone the repo. So the repository is our user.github.io, username.github.io. So for example, my username is worker, my repo name is worker.github.io. Okay. All right. Look for some pictures while you're waiting. Okay. So next, we're going to jump right into the second step here, which is publish your site. We're going to publish this website as is with the default, placeholder content. Just to make sure this website can be published and viewed. And then from there, we will go into the repo and make some modifications to fit our needs. All right, so what we're going to do is go to Settings, Pages, and select Master under the branch option here. Okay, so select Master here. Settings, Pages, select Master. And once you have that, go ahead and hit Save. So what this will do is actually take your master branch. Anytime you commit to it, GitHub is going to build your website. So it's going to use Jekyll to run the static site generator build process and output some static site. After that, GitHub Pages will be serving those files. So let's go ahead and hit Save. Under Settings, Pages, Branch, Master, Save. If you just fork the repo, you should have the master branch. If you have any issues, you can delete the repo and fork it again. Okay. All right, let me know if you're able to select master under GitHub Pages. Deploy from a branch. Yes, we're going to do deploy from a branch, master, save. All right, I'm just going to refresh this page now since it's been a moment. Okay. All right, I'm going to refresh this. And what you see up top is your website is now live at the URL, basically the URL of your repo, worker.github.io. Let me know if you see this. And with that, I can actually visit the website right now. Okay. I'm actually able to visit the website right now. And you can see in the URL, it is worker.github.io. And I have the penguin with all the default placeholder content of the website. So now this is a public website that anybody in the world can access. And what we're going to do from now is to make some modifications based on some of the instructions that the author has put in the README. So we're going to go through the usage instructions. All right, we have some helpful tips here. No worries. Okay. Yeah, so on this page, just make sure it says deploy from a branch, which should be the default, and choose master. Okay. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you're able to see this on your GitHub Pages page. Just make sure you refresh after you save. You should see your site is now live. We'll give everybody 1 more minute, and then we'll continue to the next step. In the meantime, let me grab a picture of mine, so I'll have it ready to upload. It works? Perfect. Good job. Good job. All right. I think here is the picture I'm going to use. Here's a picture I'm going to use. So get your picture ready, and we'll keep going. Amazing picture. Thank you. All right, we got some thumbs ups. All right, perfect. So let's go back to our code and just look through the README file. Let's go through the usage real quick and take a look at all the things that we need to update to make this website our own. So configuration primarily occurs in 4 files. So config.yaml, that configures the website variables and name, address, okay. Second, we can update some icon links. Third, we should update the contact. And fourth, we might want to update some style variables. So we can do that later. All right. So in that case, let's just go through these 3 files and make some updates. There is a trick that, do I copy the master branch as well? When you're forking the repo, you can just check on the checkbox that says only copy master branch. That's fine. And if you would like to go on YouTube, you can actually rewind while we're streaming. Okay, perfect. I'm so glad to hear that it's working. All right, so while you're on your repo page, here's a trick. Tap the period keyboard key on your keyboard, period, and you should see a web editor show up. Okay, it should look just like this. Once you tap the period on your keyboard. All right, let me know if you've got this editor going. And this is basically a VS Code on the browser. But this VS Code is read-only, so there's no terminal or anything. But you can actually go in there, make edits to your files. You can stage and commit files all within the browser. So it makes it super easy. Okay, so once we're in here, let's find the files. So as seen in the usage section, we're going to first edit the _config.yaml. So let's jump right into it. If we can find it right here, config.yaml. How do we get to the editor? So the way you get to the editor is when you're on your repo page. Let me just go to my repo page one more time. When you're on your repo page, tap the period keyboard key, and the editor should show up right away. So tap the period on your keyboard. Okay. All right, so with that, let's just go in there and update our config.yaml file. Now this needs to just be updated based on your name, your whatever description you would like on here. So I'm just gonna start typing, but feel free to drop anything you'd like. So I'm gonna put Wei, coach at Major League Hacking, portfolio site and blog for Wei, site. And for the URL, we're going to do worker.github.io, and that is the URL for our repo. And we're going to update the repo here as well. Author, we're going to do the same. So Wei from MLH. Email, I'm going to do weighonstream@gmail.com. And here is the link to the photos. So I'm actually going to upload my photo in this folder. So assets/jpg/photo.jpg. We're going to upload that photo shortly here. And for my socials, I'm just going to put my GitHub and my Twitter for now. And we're going to leave everything this untouched. Everything else we're going to leave untouched. So here are the things that I have updated. I'm also going to just upload my photo. So I'm going to go to Assets, JPG, and see if I can just drag my photo into this folder. Do you want to replace it? Yes, I do want to replace it. Perfect. I've replaced the photo.jpg. And I updated the config. All right, it doesn't have to be perfect right now, so just play with it. Give me a thumbs up once you have finished editing your config.yaml. Okay, we'll give everybody a few moments here. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get something going here. All right. If you're finished, please go to the third icon down here called Source Control. And this is the panel that allows you to commit and push to GitHub right from your browser. It's super easy. Okay. So how do we change the photo? So once you have the photo locally on your computer, name it photo.jpg and just drag it into the assets JPG folder, and it will prompt you to overwrite the photo. Yes, so you must submit a commit message before pushing. All right, so let's do this. If you're finished, you're going to click the plus icon next to the changes. This will stage your changes. All right, so this is going to stage your changes. If you're not familiar with GitHub, this is basically making sure your changes are ready to be pushed. So you could be making like 10 changes, but you only want to push maybe 2 changes. That's where you can configure only staging 2 changes for commit and push. If you are familiar with GitHub, this is the same as git add in the command line. All right, once you have staged the changes, just pick any commit message. I'm going to say update config and add photo. So that's what I'm going to put as my commit message. Feel free to put any message you like. You don't have to change the photo right now. All right, we have another question: how to get photo added. So I recommend just having a JPG photo locally on your computer and name it photo.jpg. Once you have it, you can just drag that photo into this folder under Assets JPG to override it. You can also upload. You can also use the upload feature to upload your photo. But I just like to drag it in there. Super easy. All right. Cool. So we're going to commit and push. All right. I'm going to hit this commit and push button. If you were still working on it, you were a little bit late, you can just go ahead and click the plus next to the changes to stage your changes and supply a commit message before you hit commit and push. So I'm just going to hit it right now. All right. Done. So you see there are no more changes because I just committed and pushed to GitHub. If I actually go back to my repo and refresh, you'll see my new commit message, update, config, and add photo. Okay. Let me know if anybody else needs help, but you don't have to upload the photo right now. I know it's difficult to find a photo that you like, especially if it's going to be shown on a public portfolio website. So you don't have to, you can keep the penguin for now if you'd like and think about it a little bit more. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you can see your commit message when you go to your repo. Just a tip here, once you commit, you'll see an orange dot here next to the commit message. That basically tells you GitHub is actually building your static website using the new configuration that you have created. And once it becomes a check mark, that means the website is now published. So if we go back to our worker, for me, it's worker.github.io and refresh, you should see my picture, my title, and a tagline. And you can also see some of the updates that's been made to the social icons like the Twitter, GitHub, and the CV icons. So, so that update also worked. My photo is a little bit big, so I might need to resize it a little bit later. But for now, I will keep it. All right. Does anybody need a little bit more time, or shall we continue? Your changes failed to deploy. This typically means you may have, removed some lines here, or maybe you added some spacing. So I recommend just going back to the original repo, copy what they had back in, and then modify from there. Just be careful not to change indentation, white space, or any of the required keys. Orange cross sign. So you can actually go to actions here. You should be able to see pages build and deployment. And you can see more details of exactly what the error is, or if it's still going, by just clicking on this workflow run. This is under the actions tab. Yeah, if we don't want to have the social, you can just remove the ones that are not applicable to you. So you can just remove all the ones you don't want on your page. So I've only kept 2. Okay. All right, let's keep going in the interest of time. under usage, there is another file we have here that we could customize. So the file is called includes/particles.home.html. Let's take a look at what that file is about. So this is under includes. I don't see the file. Okay, here it is, particles home.html. And here are all the icons. So this is where we have all the social icons. But since we have removed the ones that are not applicable to us, they're actually hidden already by default. So we don't need to make any changes. As you can see, I don't have any other social that I did not include. So we don't need to do anything here. And third, let us customize the contact.html, includes/contact.html. So let's take a look at that file. I'm going to just update the organization to Major League Hacking. And remove the address. I don't really need that. So I can also include my phone number, email. Let me update the email. And the website. In this case, it's worker.github.io. Okay, and I don't want the address, so I'm just going to remove that line. And I don't have a phone number, so I'm going to remove that as well. Okay, so that is my contact section. I've kept my organization, my email address, as well as my website address. With that, I'm going to do the same as before. Go to the source control panel here. Stage the changes and commit, update contact section. Commit and push. All right, so I just committed and pushed. If I refresh my repo, you should see the new message. And here is the orange dot I was talking about. This means the build is ongoing. And once it turns into a green check mark, that's when we can go to the website to see the updates. So we have a question here. My link on the blog GitHub About section still says that. Does it need to be manually edited? So let's take a look at what you're talking about. I don't know exactly where the link is, but just make sure you update the URLs under the config right here, line 7, as well as under the contact form. So make sure the URL on the contact form is also updated. Okay, so we waited a couple moments and now there is a check mark. This means the website has been redeployed with my updates. So I'm just going to refresh and everything seems to be okay. Wonder if there's a contact page. Contact.html. No. Where's the contact section actually? Oh, this might be, yeah, I still have to figure out where that is. But regardless, config seems to be controlling most of the settings. I feel like my name is a little bit too long, so I'm just going to change it to title away from MLH, makes it a little bit. Change title. My network is too bad, logged out. No worries. Please go to YouTube and you can actually rewind and start from whichever point you dropped. Okay, so now we're kind of just customizing it and doing stuff with it. I just changed the title, so once it builds, it should no longer say, this whole thing. It should just say away from MLH. So I'm hoping to see that shortly here. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. And if I refresh it one more time, there's a check mark. Perfect. So if we go back to the site, this is better, away from MLH, portfolio site and blog for Way. And if we scroll down, we'll see the about section and the blog section. We have a question. Are we using React.js or only HTML and CSS? For this session, we're actually not using React.js. We're also not updating, or we're not writing any HTML or CSS. This is mostly customization, but afterwards, you will be able to use HTML, CSS to modify your site. There's no React.js involved here. CSS is not working. We haven't updated any CSS yet, but if you are working on your own and updating some styles, please check out the usage section under the Sass. So it looks like the project actually uses Sass. But we're not going to cover that for the purpose of this session. Okay, we have a question. Is it possible to later easily turn the single page blog into blogs with different categories of posts? So I think what you're talking about is supported. So if you look at the description here, Jekyll supports collections, categories, and tags, and they are all available on the documentation site. So you can create different collections of blogs published by different people. You can also add tags and categories to your blog posts. Hope that helps. Creating pages deployment failed both times. Yeah, I recommend looking through the errors. So if you go to Actions, click the failed run here, you should be able to see some error logs, and maybe we can help you better with that. Okay, so we're going to continue in the interest of time. The next step is we're going to learn a little bit of a Markdown. You probably already know Markdown if you have worked with GitHub before, but Markdown is a syntax that lets you write articles in plain text, structured text. So here are some examples. For headings, you will use a hash symbol, two hash symbols for a second level heading, 3, etc. You can use 2 asterisks for bolding text, italicized text using 1, strike through, etc. So these are some basic Markdown syntax that you could use in your blog post. You don't have to use them, but it's very, very useful. There are 2 that are especially useful. I'm going to share this resource link in chat as well. All right, feel free to check out the resource link here. There are 2 that I find especially useful for writing blog posts. One is links. So a lot of times you want to link out to other pages. This is a very useful way to just create links. You use square brackets with the text you'd like to link and the actual URL in parentheses afterwards. So this is how you specify links. And the other one is images. This is very similar to links, except you include the image URL instead of the destination link URL, and you include a exclamation mark before it. So definitely check out these helpful Markdown quick start cheat sheets. This will help you write better Markdown blog posts. And with that, let's actually take a look at how to create a new post. It's very, very easy to create a new post. If you look at the file directory on the left, you will see a folder called _posts. And in there, you see 3 posts that's already there, right? They correspond to the posts on your website. Where's my website? I lost my website. So let's go to it one more time. The 3 blog posts correspond to the 3 blog posts on your website. So if you would like to make any modifications or additions, you can easily create a new blog post and just name it the date that the date of your post. So in this case, we're going to do November 10th. And you're going to create like a slug. This is going to be present in the URL component of your website. So maybe I can say ghwrocks.md. Just make sure the file ends in md. Just follow the convention of the other ones. And this is how you create a new blog post. Okay, and we can take a look at an example. All right, so you can see some example content here with various Markdown styles. And one thing to keep in mind is you do need some, what do you call this? I think there's a name for this. Let me find it on the Jekyll website. Header. I don't think it's called header. Can't remember, but let's just go to the Jekyll documentation site and we can look at it together. Front matter. Okay, that's what it's called. So basically, Jekyll requires a little header within your Markdown files, just to tell it like what is the layout it needs to use, what is the title it needs to use for that specific blog post. This also gives you capabilities like adding tags, categories, and more. So for our blog post, we're just going to copy from one of the example posts here, and we're going to just say layout is going to be the default post layout. The title is going to be GHW Rocks, and the lead is I love GHW. Okay, and the content can be Global Hack Week is a week-long hacker festival hosted by Major League Hacking every month. Okay, so that's going to be my blog post. I'm going to add a link. Join at ghw.mlh.io. And remember, for links, we can use this as the label, square brackets, and then we can use parentheses to include the actual URL. Today, okay. So that is my blog post. And all I'm going to do is stage and publish it. So add GHW Rocks blog post. Okay. That's all. That's all you need to do to add a blog post. And if we go back to our repo, you'll see the new commit that I made, and the orange dot here symbolizes this is running. The page build is running again. It's rebuilding our website and publishing it. Okay. How's everyone doing? Do you have a working website? Any questions about how to add a post? Drop me a thumbs up if you're following along. Okay, so let's check the status of our deployment real quick. Still going, so we'll wait a few moments. Okay, it's the check. Okay, how did I hyperlink? So this is how I did the hyperlink. You put parentheses, sorry, you put square brackets around the text you would like to link, and immediately after put parentheses with the URL within it. Ah, thanks. Thanks for building that for me. Thumbs up. All right, perfect. Perfect. So it looks like my build has finished. Let me just refresh my website real quick. And voila. You see, November 2023, I love GHW. And I can actually click on the link. You'll see a nice little URL here and my blog posts. The hyperlink also seemed to work very well. So I'm just going to click on it, and there it is. It works. Perfect. So we do have some amazing resources on like a Markdown cheat sheet. Definitely check that out. By the way, there are also like Markdown editors out there. So if you would like to, use like a WYSIWYG, is that how you say it? Editor, definitely check those out as well. You can just Google for some options. So, all right, we do have our website. By the way, this theme also has a light mode. All right, see, you can actually toggle between dark and light. I like it a lot. Okay, sounds like most of you have a working website. Very happy about that. With that, let's jump to the next step. If you haven't already, please get your free domain name from GoDaddy registry. All you have to do is to go to the GHW challenges site, and there is a promo code that you can use. So here is the website. Get your domain. And here is the challenge. So as you can see here, just click on the Learn More and use this coupon code down here to redeem your free domain name. All right, I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes. We'll maybe do a 4-minute break while you get your domain names. And if you already have your domain name, feel free to continue editing your website to your liking. So let me go ahead and get rid of myself for about 4 minutes. We'll be back. All right, I am back. All right, perfect. So if you have built it successfully and the blog post is still not showing up, just make sure you are following the correct tags here. So make sure you have the correct layout, title, and lead, as well as the article. And one thing to keep in mind is also the file name. So be sure to use a slug format. So only use dashes, words, no spaces, or anything like that in the file name. So try that, create a new blog post, and let me know how that goes. All right, I hope everyone had a good break. If you already have a domain name, let's jump right into hooking it up. But if you don't have a domain name yet, don't worry, it will be quick. So stay tuned, stay on, and let's just go through it together. So link your domain name. This is optional because as you can see here, you already have a domain name that you can use and share with other people. I personally think this is a pretty nice domain. But if you have your own domain name, here's how you link it. First, you will go to Settings and go to your Pages settings, the same place you were at before. And under Custom Domain, this is where you put in your domain name. And for those of you who's been to my previous streams, you know my domain name is wayonstream.co, right? And all you have to do is to place your domain name in this input here and hit save. So this is step 1. We do have a step 2, and once both steps are complete, this is super easy. So I'm just going to hit save here. And you can see DNS check is in progress for wayonstream.co. I haven't made any DNS updates yet, which is why the DNS check has failed. So let's go ahead and update our DNS. On your pork bun domain management page, find your domain name and click the DNS link underneath. So this is where you manage all your DNS records for that domain name. So let's click it. And you will be prompted with a page that looks like this. So for my domain, I'm going to use a alias record. This is a CNAME flattening record. You don't have to know what it is. It is what you need to make this domain work. All right. So pick an alias record. This is actually in the documentation as well if you want to learn more about configuring custom domains. But for now, I'm going to do alias, and I'm going to leave the host blank because I'm just using the root domain, wayonstream.co. And for the answer, this is where you need to put your github.io domain name. So for me, my username is worker, so I'm going to do worker.github.io. All right, so all you have to do is alias, leave the host blank, and answer is worker.github.io. You don't have to change anything else, just click add. And once you added it, you should be able to see the record under the current records section. Okay. If we go back to our GitHub Pages settings, we can check the domain once more. And it says DNS check in progress. Okay, it didn't work. Let's check one more time. It does take some time if you just configured it, so we'll just wait for a moment. It says I couldn't do it. We're supposed to Yeah, so if you register the domain name using GoDaddy registry, it should take you to Pork Bun to purchase the domain name for free. And from there, you should be able to see your domain under domain management. And DNS is the place where we need to add the record. Hope that helps. If you don't have a domain name currently, don't worry, you can stick with your github.io domain name. Okay, let's go back to GitHub Pages and just refresh one more time. It's still unsuccessful. That's unfortunate. Let's see what could be the problem. It looks okay on my end. Sometimes they require a www as well. So why don't I add a www? Oh, in quick DNS config. Oh, I've never seen that before. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, let's do www as well. And worker, submit. Okay, perfect. So, all right, also added A records for me. Okay. Nice. Thanks for the tip. Nabim Bat, thank you very much. All right, let me check again and hope it works. It says my site is live, so let me just click on it and double check. Okay, indeed, the website is live on my domain name, as you can see, wayonstream.co. It's already available. So let's take a look. We have our About section, we have our blog, and boom, our GHW Rocks post as well. I love it. Thank you so much for the tip. What is the difference between A and C name records? This is a little bit deeper. A records basically points the domain name to a specific IP or a set of IPs, whereas C name tells, C name is a record that redirects the DNS to a different domain name. And then you need to ask the other domain name, what are the A records of that domain name. So in this case, for our www.wayonstream.co, anytime we query for it, we actually go over to worker.github.io and query for the A records of that. Whereas for the A records of wayonstream.co, we're returning the IP addresses directly without the extra step. It's probably not a very good answer, so I apologize. I haven't prepared for it. Definitely recommend reading more about DNS records and how they work. Where do we find repository page settings? On your GitHub repo. I actually don't have it up. Just click settings and pages. Pages is on the left. Settings and pages. Thank you very much, Thinkiverse. Okay, so now we have successfully linked our domains, right? I have a wayonstream.co domain. That's my personal GoDaddy domain that is now linked to my portfolio and blog. Okay, now let's talk about content management systems. So if you find like going into your GitHub and modifying posts and writing out these tags very time consuming or not very pleasant, there are solutions for you. You can integrate your Jekyll site with some third-party content management systems that let you modify or create posts directly from their interface, so you don't have to deal with all these intricacies. So here are some examples. I've shared a link in the slides, which you can refer to after. But based on your types of the CMS, based on your language of your preference, you can go through and take a look at some of the options that can be used as the content management system for your blog, so that you don't have to always use GitHub. And there are two that I played with, dabbled with for a little bit. Decap CMS, which is used to be called Netlify CMS. And there's another web-based solution called Prose that also lets you modify blog posts directly from your browser without going through Git and GitHub. Now, you may be asking, like, what are some things you can write about in a tech blog? So there are so many things that you can share on your blog. For example, you can do tutorials and how-tos. You can do step-by-step guides with instructions and visuals, maybe screenshots of how to do programming tasks. You can share learning resources. You can organizing materials, categorizing them, and help newcomers. You can review different technologies, maybe React versus Angular, and give your thoughts. You can share tips and tricks that you've learned throughout your development journey. I'm sure I have learned a lot of cool tips and tricks, which I have been sharing throughout my streams, but it's much easier to share in a blog format, and people can spread the word. Another thing you can share about is like event coverage. If you end up going to a conference or event, that's where you can really provide some useful updates from the event, learnings from the event, or outcomes from the event. Really help people who could not be there. And lastly, you can share post-mortem or lessons learned from mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. So it is very important to not make the same mistakes again. And sharing your mistakes with the world on your blog will not only help other people, but it will help yourself remember what happened and not make those mistakes again. So those are some useful things I feel like will really benefit a tech blog specifically. So just some ideas for everybody to think about. All right. And don't forget to submit your challenges. Let's just go to the challenges site real quick and take a look at which 5 challenges that we have accomplished during this stream. Submit your challenges. Let me just post the links in chat here. And number 1, I would say redeem your free GoDaddy registry domain name. If you haven't done it, please try it out. It is a completely free 1-year domain of your choice. Let's take a look at some of the other challenges we have. I would say set up a website. Set up a website, I would call it a second challenge that we have completed using a custom GoDaddy registry domain name. Let's keep looking. Build a portfolio site with GitHub. I would say we did just that, right? We built our portfolio site using GitHub and GitHub Pages. Build a personal blog. We do have a blog component on our site. You can easily add and modify and share blog posts. And lastly, I would say we also completed Build a Portfolio Website Challenge, since our blog is also our portfolio. All right, wouldn't you say? I feel like we completed 5 challenges in just a little over an hour. Proud of ourselves. 5 points. Now, let's go to Q&A. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop them in chat. I'd love to help you out. By the way, if anybody has any technical difficulties or continue to have them, please feel free to rewatch this recording. Or if you continue to have issues, feel free to drop a message on Discord, and I will be happy to help you out. Please send the music link in chat. I do have, let me see what the name is. All right, let me grab it real quick. I don't know if this is a real song or something, but here is the music that I am playing. I don't know what that is. We indeed did a lot. All right, so if there are no questions, let's just go through a quick recap of this session. All right, so we started off talking about static sites versus dynamic sites. We learned about static site generation and the pros and cons of that. We created a beautiful portfolio website with a blog using a Jekyll template. And we published it using GitHub Pages. We also got our free domain names on GoDaddy registry and linked our domain name to that portfolio site. And lastly, we explored some ideas of things that you could include in your blog, in your tech blog. And most importantly, I wouldn't say most importantly, but on the way, we earned 5 points by completing 5 Global Hack Week challenges in just a little over an hour. So I'm very proud of ourselves. With that, these are some resources that are available that some of them I used, I shared, but definitely check them out. I'm going to share the link of the slides in chat for anybody to reference. .co/slides. All right. So feel free to grab those slides and click on some of the resource links if you are interested to learn more. All right, we do have one last question. How can we find how many points we have earned? You will receive an email around basically noon Eastern time tomorrow, I believe. And that should have all the information on the points that you have earned. Is it possible to remove the text that says Jekyll theme? I'm sure it is possible. I don't have time to go through it right now, but I'm sure it is possible to remove it. If you have any questions, we can. I can help you out, but I don't see the text on my blog post, so. If you want to point me where you're seeing it, we can definitely get that removed. If you cannot apply the MLH coupon, please send some screenshots. You can open a ticket on Discord and the team will be happy to help. All right, here is a good summary of what the differences between A records and CNAME records are. How do we submit to the MLH month-long hackathon? You should see a dev post link on the Discord server, and that's where you will be submitting your projects to. All right, with that, thank you everybody so much for coming along. I hope you learned a lot and get rocking with your portfolio sites. Bye for now, see you on Discord.